Heavyweight document released, the Doomsday of China's real estate market. Multiple Chinese regions resume highway tolls, sparking public resentment. Chinese Bitcoin mines, a threat to U.S. national security. BRI happy talk turns to frowns. It's all covered in today's China Truths. Heavyweight document released, the Doomsday of China's real estate market. On August 25, the Chinese Communist Party's State Council approved document number 14 titled Guiding Opinions on Planning, Construction, and Guaranteeing of Affordable Housing. According to a recent report by the Economic Observer Network, document number 14 has been shared with various municipal governments and related agencies, set for imminent implementation. Experts and scholars see the recent move of the CCP as heralding the doomsday of China's real estate market. In essence, document number 14 concerns the government's push to construct affordable housing in major cities for rental or sale to low-income individuals. However, it restricts individuals from selling or renting these properties. Sichuan Weekly, a significant financial media source in Taiwan, released an article by Bisak, exploring the repercussions of Document 14. The article explained how this document pushes local governments to acquire properties from failed real estate companies and distribute them, adopting a method similar to an empty-handed sale, to financially disadvantaged families. These assigned homes cannot be traded in the market, indicating a return to an era preceding the Cultural Revolution, reminiscent of regulated housing distribution in China's future. Bisak noted that although the 14th document appears reminiscent of Singapore's approach, it doesn't permit a similar shift of affordable housing into commercial property transactions. From the insights projected by this document, it hints that China might not have a real estate market in the future. This explains why the Chinese government abstains from intervening to rescue companies like Evergrande, Country Garden, and doesn't hold optimistic prospects for Vank's future. Additionally, during the Central Financial Work Conference in November, the CCP stressed its authority over financial affairs. Bisak's analysis led to the conclusion that the current policy clarity is akin to envisioning the Yellow River and the Yangtze River reversing course. Addressing the impact of document number 14, Ms. Guojun, the head editor at the Epoch Times' Chinese version, cited a recent disclosure made online by a Chinese investor, sharing insights from high-level sources. The talk is that once document number 14 kicks in, there's an expectation that property prices in top-tier cities like Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, and Shenzhen will halve, while those in secondary and tertiary cities might plummet to a mere tenth of their current value. She expressed concern about the potential losses faced by many small investors and passionately advocated for action during a show, sparking harsh criticism from real estate agents. Ms. Guojun's assessment highlights at least three interrelated problems due to document number 14. First, there could be an unsustainable future for real estate companies, with some Chinese experts predicting a potential 90% bankruptcy rate over the next 5 years. Second, local governments will face a financial crunch as revenue from land sales diminishes, worsening government debt. The third issue is that roughly 70% of Chinese assets are tied up in housing, so a decline in property prices could significantly reduce personal wealth. Multiple Chinese regions resume highway tolls, sparking public resentment. The Chinese economy is in decline, and ongoing debt crises are occurring at the local level. Consequently, various provinces have reinstated toll charges on national highways, resulting in widespread public grievances. Recently, Jiangsu's government announced the return of toll collection at the Suhui toll station on the 205 national highway. They're charging 10 to 15 yuan for cars, about 137 to 26 US dollars, and 10 to 50 yuan for trucks, about 137 to 686 US dollars. The 205 highway stretches over 3,160 kilometers, touching 8 provinces and directly governed cities. By implementing toll stations in Jiangsu, vehicles going both north and south are affected. In fact, unofficial figures suggest that at least 10 toll stations have been set up on national highways in various provinces since 2021. Additionally, many tourists have reported toll collection on national highways in Xinjiang and Tibet, even when stopping for sightseeing or taking pictures by the roadsides. People from mainland China have been revealing that with the economic slump and local governments facing financial crises, there's a rush to boost income. On top of inconsistent charges and fines, public grievances are widespread. There was this person online saying, "Regular people have only one solution: don't buy cars, skip getting hitched, no kids, no homes. Let's put an end to this unfairness in our time." Then there were others who were like, "Make the leaks vanish completely, let them cut without cutting us." Some people even questioned why they brought back tolls when back in 2009, they swapped road maintenance fees for fuel charges. The term leak is a slang one in some mainland online communities that refers to ordinary people who are seen as being exploited or taken advantage of by those in power or authority, similar to how leeks are cut without actually being fully harvested. Mr. Liu, from Jiangsu, put it straight: our local government's strapped for cash. They promised no tolls on the national highways, but now they're backtracking. If they go ahead with tolls, costs shoot up, prices skyrocket. The fines for any violations are sky high. Try to speak up? They just shut you down. Mr. Zhu, a local from Anhui, shared, "Here, power matters more than the law, and we fear this might become a nationwide trend. Our area is in a real mess with the country drowning in financial debt." Chinese Bitcoin mines, a threat to U.S. national security. Mr. Antonio Gracefo is a China economic analyst who has spent more than 20 years in Asia. In his article Chinese Bitcoin Mines, a Threat to U.S. National Security, published November 9, Mr. Gracefo presented the concerns for the threat from Chinese Bitcoin mines to the U.S. According to Mr. Gracefo, Chinese cryptocurrency mining operations have been discovered in 12 U.S. states, raising national security concerns. The Pentagon is overseeing surveillance of a Chinese Bitcoin mining facility in Cheyenne, Wyoming. This site is near a Microsoft data center that houses sensitive information, providing critical support to the Pentagon. In a 2022 report submitted to the Committee on Foreign Investment in the United States, CFIUS, a federal entity responsible for monitoring foreign investments with potential national security implications, Microsoft expressed concerns regarding the Wyoming location, emphasizing the possibility of China engaging in comprehensive intelligence collection activities. U.S. officials are apprehensive that this mining operation may be able to conduct surveillance on the Francis E. Warren Air Force Base, a mile away from the Bitcoin mine. The base is home to the 90th Missile Wing, known as the Mighty 90, responsible for maintaining Minuteman III intercontinental ballistic missiles, ICBMs, on full alert 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. The Wyoming-based mine uses computer hardware sourced from a company known as Bitmain, with some components originating from a location affiliated with the Chinese Communist Party, CCP. Following the 2021 ban on Bitcoin mining in China, shipments of Bitmain equipment to the United States surged 15-fold. The New York Times identified Chinese Bitcoin mining operations in a dozen states, and it is possible that additional undisclosed mining facilities are in operation. Another Chinese Bitcoin mining entity, YZY Capital Holdings, also acquired land near Warren Air Force Base. These Chinese firms are frequently affiliated with larger parent corporations, often concealed through shell companies, and tend to maintain a deceptive presence with a nominal address in the United States while being registered in the Cayman Islands. The corporate proprietor of the Wyoming Bitcoin mine was previously registered as a port company located in Manhattan but registered in the Cayman Islands. YZY Capital Holdings holds its registration in Manhattan and is owned by Chinese national Yuan Qian, who reportedly has ties to Beijing. Prior to 2021, the majority of global cryptocurrency mining operations were concentrated in China. However, following Beijing's decision to ban such activities, the industry shifted to other nations, including the United States. These mining operations often occupy extensive warehouse spaces, usually repurposed from former factories. Their choice of location is driven by the quest for affordable electricity, as cryptocurrency mining is energy-intensive and generates substantial heat. Therefore, these facilities require spacious, well-ventilated areas equipped with fans to regulate temperature. China's decision to ban cryptocurrency mining was prompted by concerns related to excessive energy consumption and the inability to regulate the flow of currency out of the country. Notably, one of Beijing's primary concerns was the potential for capital flight, particularly during economic crises when Chinese citizens sought to move their wealth abroad by converting it into hard currency or investing it in foreign markets. Until 2021, Bitcoin had served as a covert means for capital to exit the country. By banning private cryptocurrency, Beijing is eliminating competition for its own central bank digital currency, CBDC, over which it will have full control. Beijing's pursuit of cryptocurrency regulation aligns with its economic policies, whereas the U.S. government's primary concern is rooted in national security. Bitcoin mining facilities concentrate substantial computing power within a single location, potentially opening the door to various activities, including cyber attacks. There are concerns that China may leverage these operations for the unauthorized acquisition of intellectual property, trade secrets, or financial data, posing significant economic risks to the United States. Another concern pertains to the vulnerability of energy infrastructure. Bitcoin mining is notorious for its substantial energy consumption, potentially straining U.S. power grids. These mining operations' capacity to intermittently consume vast amounts of energy can lead to grid disruptions, a threat identified by the state of Texas. The unearthing of undisclosed mining facilities could underscore weaknesses within the U.S. energy infrastructure, particularly when these operations are connected to the power grid without the necessary authorization. Many of the Chinese mines are located in parts of the United States where there is little or no industry, or places like Niagara Falls, where joblessness is high. Local governments have warmly welcomed these mining ventures in hopes of jump-starting their local economies and job opportunities. However, this eagerness also presents opportunities for potential Chinese influence operations. Beijing has a track record of attempting to exert influence through engagement with lower-tier government employees or city and municipal officials. Beijing might also be utilizing these mining operations to manipulate the price dynamics of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, seeking economic advantages. Acquiring a substantial portion of the Bitcoin mining network could allow China to influence transactions or disrupt the network's stability, potentially undermining U.S. interests. Moreover, Beijing has a history of assisting Mexican drug cartels in money laundering. Bitcoin could facilitate these illicit financial activities. Additionally, cryptocurrencies offer a solution to the challenge of transferring proceeds from drug sales in the United States back to Mexican cartels. These Bitcoin mining operations represent the most recent additions to a series of Chinese businesses found in the United States that raise concerns for national security. For example, in August, an unlicensed Chinese biolab was uncovered in California, where it was handling potentially lethal viruses and genetically altered mice. These incidents collectively underscore the risks associated with permitting Chinese companies to invest in the United States and highlight how Beijing may exploit America's democratic freedoms. Furthermore, the U.S. government's response to such discoveries often takes weeks or months, and when it does act, the actions are often fragmented, allowing such issues to persist. BRI Happy Talk turns to frowns. In the article China's Belt, Tightening, and Road to Nowhere Initiative Update, published November 8, commentator Stu CVRK presented an analysis about the cracks in the BRI facade of China. According to Mr. Stu CVRK, in October, the world endured a barrage of propaganda from Communist China's state-run media supporting Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, a massive international infrastructure and economic development program that began with great fanfare in 2013. Despite the happy talk during the recently completed Third Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation in Beijing, all is not sweetness and light with the BRI, also known as One Belt, One Road. the BRI turns 10. Widely publicized in 2013 as Xi Jinping's first major initiative, the BRI consisted of two major components, the Silk Road Economic Belt and the 21st Century Maritime Silk Road. During the 10 years of its existence, the tentacles of the BRI have spread to 149 countries, including China. This year's BRI Forum for International Cooperation in Beijing celebrated the initiative's 10th anniversary. As reported by The Conversation, on October 26, Xi Jinping made additional promises for the BRI, including future green development and promotion of integrity-based cooperation, sharing BRI details and compliance information. Right on cue, Chinese state-run media spun a happy tale of the 10 years of BRI to highlight the forum. On October 16, Global Times touted 10 years of miraculous BRI development. On October 21, Global Times echoed Xi Jinping's promise of another golden decade of BRI cooperation. On October 24, People's Daily boldly claimed that Belt and Road cooperation is on the right side of history. BRI happy talk turns to frowns. Cracks are forming in the BRI facade. Various countries are learning that China's BRI investments are heavily tilted toward Chinese interests, not those of recipient countries. Roughly one-third of all BRI investments per year are comprised of actual Chinese outward foreign direct investment, FDI. The remaining two-thirds are not FDI grants but loans from the China Export-Import Bank or the China Development Bank that recipient countries must repay. Recipients are frequently forced to satisfy their loan obligations by granting the Chinese long-term exploitation rights for rare earth elements, hydrocarbons, and other commodities and or long-term lease arrangements for ports, railroads, and other infrastructure developed using those BRI loans. According to the Center for Strategic and International Studies, the latter is exactly what happened at Sri Lanka's Hambantota port when China received a controlling 99-year equity stake in the port in 2017. So much for miraculous development under the BRI, as the benefits skew toward communist China. Other countries have frowns, too. Italy. After 4 years of participation, Italy pulled out of the BRI in an announcement made by Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni during the G20 meeting in New Delhi in September of this year. Italy was the first country to officially leave the BRI, and the geopolitical ramifications are significant for the world, as China has been focusing considerable resources on penetrating and influencing the European Union. A key goal in Italy's Memorandum of Understanding to join the BRI did not materialize, to rebalance Italy's unfavorable trade balance with China. The reality is that Italy's bilateral trade deficit with China is over $10 billion larger now than in 2019. Portugal. Portuguese relations with China began in 1513, with Portugal paying rent to the Ming dynasty to establish a trading hub on the island of Macau. China views Portugal as a linchpin and gateway to Europe and the large markets representing former Portuguese colonies in South America and Africa, including Brazil, Angola, and Mozambique. Thus, it must have come with some shock that, in taking a cue from Italy, the Portuguese government of Prime Minister Antonio Costa, a socialist, has quietly moved back toward the North Atlantic Consensus and stepped away from its previously cozy ties with Beijing, as noted by the Center for European Policy Analysis. A contributing factor is the Chinese regime's ongoing intimidation of Taiwan and the Philippines. Laos. China became the largest investor in Laos through the BRI with an initial investment of $5 billion spread across 745 projects in 2013. Now, as reported by Japan News last month, Laos is struggling to repay the billions it borrowed from China to fund the hydroelectric dams, trains and highways, which have drained the country of foreign reserves. As a result, Lao people have begun to express unprecedented discontent online, targeted at China and their own government. Philippines. As reported by Asia Financial on October 30, as tensions in the West Philippine Sea around Scarborough Shoal rise, the Philippines has dropped a funding deal with China for 3 rail projects totaling $5 billion. Asia Times further noted that nearly all of China's key investment initiatives in the Philippines are now in doubt due to both economic and political factors. Geopolitics trumps BRI economics in the Philippines. Concluding thoughts. Despite the fanfare from Xi Jinping and Chinese state-run media surrounding last month's Belt and Road Forum, according to a Forbes report quoted by the Washington Standard, the BRI has become a euphemism for wasteful spending, environmental destruction, and untenable debt. Throw in rampant corruption, too, as a 2017 McKinsey study focusing on Chinese relations with Africa found that between 60% to 80% of Chinese companies in Africa admitted to paying bribes to receive favorable contractual terms. Lastly, as reported by Zero Hedge on October 31, since 2015, China has had to extend emergency loans to BRI countries such as Mongolia, Egypt, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, and Turkey, with some of those loans being rolled over and extended for several years in a row. The share of China's borrowers in distress has increased so steeply in recent years that 60% of the country's overseas lending portfolio supported these countries in 2022, up from just 5% in 2010. Buyers of BRI Happy Talk, beware. Don't forget to comment in the section below to share your opinions on today's topic with us. If you find the information helpful, please share this video with a friend to watch together. This will be a great source of motivation for our team to produce more and more quality and reliable videos. And also don't forget to like and subscribe to see more interesting topics from China Truths. Thank you for tuning in.